¡Dame un tráiler! ¿Qué músicas?
¿Qué música? Una feria.
¿Es esta la música de persecución? ¿What? ¡Parece de
No sé
Mimic!
lo que es, pero como tal no mola. Así mejor.
No creo. Qué error. Es la música, creo, ¿no? No. Hola, el lobby. ¿What?
No sé, cambia demasiado. No me gusta que cambie tanto.
What? No sé.
Whoa! I was waiting for Jay to tell us when we're ready, but we're live. See, we told you it's live. You didn't believe us. Okay, so hi Jay.
Pelete de Freddy,
So from the time that we announced that Five Nights at Freddy's was coming to Dead by Daylight, obviously the excitement has been off the charts for Five Nights at Freddy's fans.
¡Quiero mi tráiler cinemático!
Myself, maybe you, and you know, people are speculating. Who's the killer going to be? Are we going to get a map, et cetera, et cetera? We answered those things in a high-level way at
Sí.
PAX a few weeks ago. Indeed, we will have a killer, Springtrap. For the first time ever, you get to play as Springtrap instead of be terrorized by Springtrap. Well, if you're a survivor, you'll still be terrorized.
Yeah.
And also, we'll be bringing a new map. So Jay has come here to join us. And if
¡Ánimo
you
para Jay!
have watched streams before, you would know Jay from such hits as Chucky and also Dracula.
Ha hecho
He is
Chucky y
the voice
Drácula.
of both of
Vale,
those,
tiene
as
sentido lo de
well as
Drácula.
Springtrap. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to be here.
I'm also excited for you to be here,
Oh.
Jay. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned, you worked on some pretty iconic licenses already. So when you were assigned Five Nights at Freddy's, what was it like when you first started working on that chapter?
It was really interesting. I didn't have a lot of experience with it.
Muy interesante, no tenía
My
experiencia
throats
suficiente.
are a little dry today. I was obviously aware of it. I mean, everybody is.
Obviamente lo sabía.
It's so iconic in
Era
such a
consciente.
short period of time. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't really realize how kind of deep the lore and the
No
story
sabía
went,
cómo de profundo el lore era,
before I
efectivamente.
started kind of looking into this chapter. So it's been cool, and like the story
Le ha
is
gustado la
way
historia.
more horrifying than I ever thought it would
Sí,
be.
sí, sí.
Oh yes, despite how cute it is, very horrifying. And actually, I think that's a very initial common ground DBD fans and FNAF fans will have.
El lore.
Lore, on both
Chavales,
sides.
vamos a leer el lore completo de Springtrap. Yo sé que nunca leo el lore de los killers, pero voy a leer las 28 páginas que haya, ¿vale? ¿Me la pela?
So I guess the way you mentioned it, sounds like you had to do a lot of research to get up to speed.
Efectivamente.
Yeah, for sure. You know, one of my favorite things about doing licenses like this is they give me an excuse, I guess, a reason to become like a real big nerd about one specific franchise.
Game theory, please.
And that's always amazing. You know, Chucky, I got to watch all the movies, and Dracula, we played the games and watched stuff. So this one, I did the same thing. I jumped in. My main thing was YouTube and Twitch, watching streams. I watched 60 to 70 hours of content.
60 horas
Some of
de
the more
content.
popular streamers, I guess we can say,
Sí.
all through all the games, including,
¡Vamos,
you know, not just to see games and how they played, but also players, how they react, the community, how they react, getting the inspiration for the experience of FNAF and Five Nights at Freddy's, excuse me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really special thing. You didn't just tackle it from a mechanics point of view. You wanted to understand the community. You wanted to understand
Yeah.
the players.
Entienda la comunidad, los jugadores.
In DBD as possible.
Para que se sean todos los más bienvenidos al DVD.
No, we're gonna be doing this a lot. It's just quicker to use acronyms. So I think that's a great touch. So any surprises you found along the way as you were doing that?
Sorpresas.
Yeah, I mean, this won't be a surprise to most people, but it was to me, was like I said, just how passionate the community is. They're like
comunidad
you said, they're
tiene
very,
mucha
it's very
pasión, sí.
similar to DVD in that respect of like very passionate fans and very passionate community. People who kind of they watch the trailers and they watch gameplay and they pick
¡Los trailers, lo han dicho!
start stringing things together, and I imagine there's at least a few Five Nights fans with like the boards with pictures and the string all over them.
Yes, which Jay, you're kind of famous for with Dracula. Hand drew some meme-worthy art, so maybe we'll have some more.
Sí.
But yeah, they're probably picking apart our outfits as we speak. Like, what does it mean? What is it? I just wanted people to see my cool new mint-colored shoes. That's all.
I just wanted people to see. I don't know if I can show it. My daughter
Yo!
Freddy Fazbear socks for Christmas.
Got Freddy on the feet. Likewise, my son gave me his Freddy plush for good luck today. So we are loving it over here. So before we jump into the gameplay, why don't you tell us about how you started to approach the design of Springtrap?
Yeah, it was a really interesting one because obviously, if you know both games, gameplay-wise, they're pretty diametrically opposed. Five Nights at Freddy's is really about sitting still. You manage resources.
Sí, de normal FNAF es estar de quieto y
and
manejar
not to get
recursos.
killed, whereas DBD is all about moving around, doing the gens. If you sit still, you're gonna get yourself
Not a
killed.
good strategy.
It's not a great,
Sí.
great idea. So it really became about kind of nailing down what the quintessential Five Nights at Freddy's experience is.
Esencia de
It's
FNAF
like
es
the security office, the
seguridad,
battery power,
oficina,
all those
batería,
amazing jump scares,
los jumpscares,
and just kind of figuring out how to adapt that into the context.
adaptar eso al DVD.
Perfect. So with that transition, let's get into Springtrap specifically and his gameplay.
Yeah. So one of the goals for Springtrap was to figure out how to lean into those
Objetivo
jump scares, which are
del
kind
Springtrap
of
es como
the
el
thing
ser-
with the Five Nights at Freddy's games,
Los
right?
jumpscares, el sentimiento de FNAF,
Without making him just a straight up stealth killer, which was something we
sin
wanted to
hacer
do.
un killer de sigilo,
So I had this idea of doing something that we'd never really tried before, where
Algo que nunca han
we
hecho.
focus Springtrap kind of as a grab-based killer.
¡Dios! ¡Grave decir! ¡Ay, qué guapo!
Scares into themselves.
¡Cuchillo!
It's right there. So we just kind of leaned into that and gave him more of those opportunities.
Lo del modelo me equivoco.
Screen, by
There
the
he
way.
is, yeah.
I think we
¡Hala!
have another one of him doing a little bit of a grab.
Yeah. And we also gave
Se
him
te
a
cortan los
premium
gritos,
projectile, which is really cool.
¿En directo se escuchan bien?
Springtrap has two weapons. I get to finally announce that
no lo
the
sé.
community have been talking about it.
¡Dos
So,
armas!
Pizza knife as his main weapon, and a heavy fire axe as his
¡Hacha! ¡Tiene hacha!
So let's
¡Que la teoría de la verdad!
how do you use the axe? How's it different from
Te está
projectiles that
muteando
other
el-
characters
esto,
in Dead by Daylight use?
Yeah, so
El
it's
directo se
very
mutea.
unique. It's not gonna play like any other projectile killer that you've tried before.
¿Qué?
We wanted to do something a little bit
¡Que sí que hay proyectil!
interesting with it. So if you throw the axe and it hits something in the environment, whether it's a missed shot or it's deliberate, it creates an AOE that lasts about 15 seconds.
Cuando lanzas el hacha, creas una
If the
OE.
survivor walks through it,
¿Y
you
si
get
alguien
kill
entra?
instinct on them for a
Le
short
pones
period of time.
instinto asesino. Espérate que es verdad lo del
The
hacha.
survivor with it kind of gets lodged in their back.
Espérate que lo del hacha es
Chasing.
verdad.
Kind of have an axe lodged in their back.
Just a
No,
little
big
bit.
Espérate que lo del hacha es verdad.
So they can remove it manually, or they can do it quicker in co-op with another survivor. As Springtrap, you can also retrieve it yourself if you get in close. You can skip kind of the steps of downing the survivor and picking them up. You get in close to a survivor that has the axe embedded in them. You click the button,
Yes.
grab the axe and the survivor at the same time. You get a
¡Ah!
cool
¡Vías el sonido a la vez!
jump scare, and then you're carrying them on your shoulder. Couple little notes. One of them is while you have your projectile available, you move
¡Ese es el Mori!
4 meters per second. There he is.
There's a little glimpse of some jump scare action.
no.
Once
Sí.
you've thrown the axe, you actually move at 4.6 meters per second. It's something that we've never really done base kit for.
Cuando lanzas el hacha te mueves 4,6.
Really interesting tactical choices, meaning that you have to recall the axe manually. It never comes back to you automatically unless you throw it out of the map because you can make a mistake. But yeah, as long as it's in the environment or in a survivor or whatever it is, you have to manually recall it.
So
Tienes
lightens
que
his
llamar
load
de
a little
vuelta.
bit, makes him a bit faster.
Que lo del hacha, la verdad, me cago en la
So
puta.
that brings us to another unique part of his gameplay, and I think super iconic to Five Nights at Freddy's, the security office.
Oficina de seguridad.
Yeah. So it was really important for us to give the killer and the survivor a really kind of interesting shared experience in that space, which allowed us to also lean into the jump scares. And
jump
some of
scares.
the ways we came up with was to introduce a security office, which is part of any trial that Springtrap is.
¿Hay una oficina?
Power, but it acts as kind of a transitionary space. So we have 7 doors that appear randomly around the map at chess spawns.
7 puertas que hay en el mapa.
And these can be used by survivors or killers to teleport around the map.
¿Y pueden usar los supervivientes y los killers para tepearse?
There be a door.
There it is. And survivors can also use them for surveillance. So as a survivor, you interact with the door.
¿Y lo pueden usar para las
You bring up
cámaras?
the camera view.
Dale, es
You
una
get the
puerta
kind of
mágica de
iconic
Doraemon.
map view in the bottom right of all the different cameras. On the bottom left, you'll see your battery power, which we'll talk about in a second.
¡Batería!
You can see what's going on in the other doors. You can switch between doors.
A ver, si las cámaras son la puerta, efectivamente.
That if it looks safe on the other end, you press the button. Your character goes into the security office.
Y si lo ves seguro...
Hands off. Almost like a compartment.
No, profe, no me jodas, ¿viste?
And one thing you mentioned, again, just in case we have new folks playing,
¿No quieres jugar con
regardless of what
nosotros
map
un
you're
versus
playing on, this
4 bits
functionality,
Bootbeat?
the security
Bajen
will
el
be there
Prime o
as long
vendrá
as Springtrap
Springtrap y
is
os
the killer
robará.
in the match.
¡Cago en la puta!
Yeah, exactly.
Gracias, profe, te quiero. Pero eso es
As a
mentira.
survivor,
¿Cuándo he dicho que no iba a
you
jugar?
can see Springtrap through a camera. If you train your camera on him for a few seconds, he'll be revealed for a little bit for the whole survivor team.
Si ves en una cámara de Springtrap, lo revelas.
And what about if, like, what if Springtrap goes in at the same time as a survivor goes in at a different door and they meet?
Yeah, so since they can both use the doors in the security office,
Yeah.
we wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity for that interaction. So if a survivor is moving through that space from one door to the other, and Springtrap, excuse me, chooses one of those 2 doors, whether the one they're coming from or the one they're going to, he'll interrupt them in the security office for a fun little surprise.
Los interrumpe.
I love all the little,
sí.
the little touches that the team has planted in there like that. I think
Pero el hacha aún me
I'm
raya,
really
tío.
gonna love it, including this.
Que es una cazadora.
Battery, managing the battery is part of this as well. So how's that working?
Ya, vale.
Yeah, so survivors share a universal battery. It's shared amongst all of them.
Hay una batería
It drains a
universal.
little bit, kind of ticks down per second while you're using the cameras.
Mientras usas las
We want
cámaras.
players to just be the man in the chair
Yeah.
and just sitting there and telling all their friends. So it drains a little bit using the teleporter to move around the map. Takes off a big old chunk in one shot.
O sea, el tepearte,
And then you
tal.
have to kind of manage that battery as a team.
Vale, tienes
It
que
slowly
manejar esa
recharges on
batería.
its own over time, but you have to kind of manage when and where you're using it.
Ah, ¿se recarga?
If the battery does run out, the security system, which is kind of the doors, the cameras, the office, goes into shutdown mode for 45 seconds.
Ah.
But Springtrap is not affected by the battery.
Si se acaban las baterías,
If the survivors have kind of overplayed their hand and they shut the security office down, they've kind of given up their one bit of power in this
Right.
chapter, and Springtrap can still use the doors and bounce around.
Oh,
and do whatever it
dangerous.
wants.
Dangerous. Fantastic.
Um,
But what about disabling the doors?
Yes.
Yes.
So to go back to the axe, if the killer hits either a camera or a door, the whole thing with their axe, that door and the camera becomes unavailable to survivors. They can't use it to teleport away. They can't teleport. to
puedes
that
dar con
door.
la hacha a
They
la
can't
puerta
see
o la
through the
cámara y la
camera. That's
quitas para los
disabled.
sobrevivos.
Got it.
When the killer retrieves it, that effect lingers a little bit. It becomes a really cool way of like, I need to scope this area out, but I don't want to be revealed or seen. You can disable the door, move around, use it to fake the survivors out.
Got it. But it's
Yeah.
not permanent. The door can be used again after the axe has been retrieved.
Unless it's in shutdown, which means the survivors can't use it anyway.
Right. Cool. Okay. So speaking about moving around the map, which
Yeah.
it sounds like we have a new exciting way to do that. One of the coolest things about the chapter, in fact, is the map. Freddy
mapa.
Fazbear's Pizza is
Mapa.
a new map, a new level within Dead by Daylight
poder del
for
killer.
DVD fans, specifically in the Withered Isle realm. So what can you tell us about the
Withered
map?
Isle Realm,
Yeah,
efectivamente.
so the art team and the level design team, much like me, they did a ton of research, and like I don't say this just.
En los
because
teasers hemos
it's
visto un montón de
really
habitaciones,
fun.
Va a ser un mapa muy
I
grande.
love it so much.
En plan, el interior.
In the same way that we worked hard at kind of integrating a lot of opportunities for jump scares into the killer gameplay, their team really wanted to make sure that they did the same when it comes to things like Easter eggs and scares around the map. So it really pays off if you're kind of an exploratory player a little bit.
Amazing. So are there some areas that you want to shout out that Five Nights at Freddy's fans might recognize?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot. You'll see a lot of small references and stuff.
Mhm,
But
sí.
obviously, we've recreated a lot of kind of the iconic areas from the game.
Sí, bro.
But we're also letting you exit the pizzeria to explore the outside a little bit, which is really cool. and we wanted to kind of add a little bit more space.
Es un mixto, sí.
Dynamic chases and whatnot.
Yeah.
But for the rooms, we've got the lobby, we've got the dining hall, of course.
Lobby
with
dining.
the full animatronic band on stage is very cool. And we have the arcade.
Arcade.
Which is, you know, it's all very kind of creepily decorated like a birthday party. And, you know, we have areas like the kitchen and
Cocina.
the mechanical room, which is cool.
Cocina.
We can
Esta.
see
There
a
you
little
go,
glimpse
yeah.
right there too.
Yeah, so altogether this should kind of feel like I guess a formerly working
Yes.
pizzeria. And, you know, of course, since it's Dead by Daylight, the entity's weird pustules and deformations are everywhere to remind you exactly of where you still are and
You're
where
making
you're
a
stuck.
judgment call on those pustules there, Jay.
But if you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I think you're really going to love the map. They've done a lot of really cool work.
Yeah, it's super fun. And it looks really good too. The art team did knock it out of the park.
Porque no
But also
necesitan
Springtrap wandering around,
puertas,
it's
¿o qué?
like a terror. And I think for Five Nights at Freddy's fans, like, whoop, you're going to be in familiar territory.
Yeah.
So one other nice thing that we did mention on the PAX broadcast, but I do want to mention it again, we're going to have a separate queue for
La doble cola,
this
sí.
map specifically, which means
¡Pero y mi
if
tráiler!
you want to go to the game and you just want to check out the map, normally
solo
in the
pilla la
past,
info y el
you'd
resto
be in the
motores.
general rotation of maps
Bueno, pero el
and
que
all
pilla
that.
la info
Now you can go straight in, just
la
to
revela ya a
the
todos, o sea que
without having to-
está ya hecho para las premades. El killer ya de por sí está hecho para premade. Y eso me gusta porque eso quiere decir que pueden balancearlo para jugar contra premades.
We'll have a unique queue.
Porque son conscientes de que van a tener info constantemente. Entonces seguramente el poder de Chase sea bueno.
for survivors and for
El
killers.
tema del hacha.
Yeah, so for the killer as Springtrap, get used to the arc of the projectile. As
La
I said,
trayectoria.
it's super unique.
Es muy
compared
único.
To other projectile killers, we've done something that really allows you to
Revienta solo
pull
Q.
off some pretty gnarly trick shots. We've seen some
Flick
really
shots?
interesting ones on our
Bueno, tendrán que bufear solo
super
Q para eso.
fun. So test that out, get used to it, and take advantage of the jump scares.
Take
Especially
advantage
if
of
you're
the
playing
jump
with your
scare.
friends, hearing them shout in your ear is always a great time.
Dice, ¡Yes!
But for survivors, take advantage of the cameras and the doors.
Aprovecha las cámaras y las
It may seem
puertas.
a little unsafe because you can be interrupted or whatever, but they're really valuable tools if you get used to them and you
Son muy valiosas las herramientas
kind
de
of
las
scope out
cámaras.
the area.
Yo espero que los supervivientes
You'll-
tengan que usar
you'll-
las cámaras
you'll get more of an
porque
advantage out of them than I
si
think
es
you
tipo
realize.
que no necesitan usarla como era la Sadako con las teles
Well,
antes,
Jay,
entonces no
thank
mola
you so
tanto.
much, as
En plan, que
always,
estén medio
for
obligadas a
your
usar las
notes, your
cámaras.
Wonderful work and the fun stuff that you've planted in there. Soon enough, people will get to play around with it. I know you're going to be
Pero obviamente sin
doing your,
abusar.
Twitch
Por eso está lo de la
streams and
batería.
watch people, play
¡Dios,
it.
qué curioso,
Thank
¿no?
you so much for joining us.
¿No ha habido
So much
tráiler
going
ni
on.
nada de eso?
So next we're going to bring out our
No puede ser que
Justin
no hagan tráiler
Still
cinemático
even
en la
on TV's
licencia más auténtica en
anniversary
BP.
event that's right around the corner.
¿Cómo que han dicho?
Fire, but
Dafna y Escon.
Obviously, we kind of touched on it. Brace yourself. This is a bit emotional. But after this, the party will be over. It'll be our. I
This
know,
is so
I know,
much.
I know.
¡Cero día para la fiesta!
Let's keep it together. But we're gonna be okay because before we close the curtain, we've got other things happening right before, right?
That's correct. On June 17th, we have our highly anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's chapter releasing, along with it, the Five Nights at Freddy's collection. Now, as you know, Dave and Matt already revealed one of the outfits at PAX, but
See?
there's a few more to show off today that no one's seen quite yet.
Okay.
¡Ah!
But in case you did miss PAX, first of all, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
¡Ey, un
Our Yellow Rabbit legendary outfit. from-
¡Dios! ¡Qué guapo, tío!
This incredible outfit from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that features the
Este ya lo
legacy
vimos,
of
este ya lo
Matthew Lillard,
vimos.
who played William Afton.
¿Qué haces? ¡Qué mierda!
Ford's
¡Uh!
really turns him into Springtrap. Now, this outfit has original voiceover from Matthew Lillard.
¡Chúpame la polla, aguja!
As well
Perdón,
as
te quiero.
special voiceover and animations in the launch.
¡Yo grito!
Okay, I cannot wait to get my hands on that. But are there going to be other versions of Springtrap coming into the fog as well?
There is. We also have a glitch trap, a legendary.
¡Glitch up! ¡Glitch up! ¡Glitch up! ¿Qué?
Where he
¿Qué?
plays a crucial role in the story, so it's amazing to have him as part of this collection. And as an added bonus, for both legendary outfits, when you unlock them, you'll receive a portrait badge of those characters as well.
¡Glitch up!
Badge for glitch trap and a yellow rabbit.
¡Yellow rabbit!
badge as well. We also have two very rare outfits for Springtrap, which are both taken from Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery, the mobile AI.
¡Especial delivery! ¡Ah, bueno!
Our Clown Springtrap.
¡El de para allá!
Springtrap. Now,
Ah,
Clown Springtrap is pulled
¡El de para allá!
talks at Springtrap to really make them their own.
¿Qué le falla? ¿Dónde que va?
For the survivors out there who want to show their love for FNAF, there will be Freddy Fazbear's t-shirts available for all original survivors.
Entonces no hay skins de los animatrónicos originales.
No lo han dicho, espérate.
Trap F.
Like the shirt.
¡Hola!
Gives them this nice, cool, casual look, and I think because of that, it's why I love the next collection you're going to be talking about.
Casual is a great way to describe it because this collection is simply called the Casual Collection, and as the name implies, it focuses on streetwear and casual clothing.
Casual-
Audience add more variety to characters who've kind of been stuck with one look. For example, a guy like Gabriel, who's often portrayed in space-themed outfits.
Me han dicho las skins de Killer.
Casual show a different side of his character.
Looks so good.
He's a handsome
El
man.
clown de
Handsome man.
Springtrap. No me lo creo, loco.
Gabriel, we also have outfits for Tori, who will be taking a break from her cult robes.
That looks so good.
One I know you're very excited about, which is Talita, who is getting some pants and escaping her short and shirt purgatory that she was in for a bit there.
Talita mentioned, yes, pants!
Thank you, Eric.
Vale, 30.
Pants!
50 euros que me voy a gastar, sí. O por ahí. Y también la camiseta para
We
Kate.
have an outfit for Hattie as well. And this collection will be hitting the store on July 2nd, right at the start of summer.
I cannot wait. Obviously, I'm really excited for pants. Pants. But with that, I mean, especially because like with the pants,
La,
I'm comfortable while I'm hanging on the hook. I mean, I'm gonna be there anyway, so I might as well.